What's good, everyone? It's MJO23Dan back with another video. Today's video, I'm going to be doing all of my pickups of 2022. Let's take a look. Alright guys, so typically I do an entire pickup video for the end of the year. This is the pickup video for 2022. A lot of people like to do their top 10 lists, top 5 lists. I like to just give you all of my thoughts and opinions about a particular pickup that I did for the year. So just to give you guys a little bit more of a rundown, my thoughts and opinions about it and all that good stuff. So I spent, well, let's first off say, I have about 21 different pairs up here, and you know, there's some doubles, some triples, and I've spent probably a little bit north of $5,000. I know that's kind of like, man, you spent over 5 G's on sneakers. Yeah, if you guys have spreadsheets that I do, you know, you input everything for like insurance purposes, or you guys want to you know, include that as like, you know, some end of the year thing, or you just want to keep up with your collection and see what you have. I highly suggest doing a spreadsheet so you guys know, like, you know, who you pick up from, how much you picked it up for, what it sold for, stuff like that. So, you know, it's kind of like a different means of really knowing what I have in my collection and not second guessing on what I don't or what I have or whatever. So, yeah, so north of $5,000. It is a lot of money. So, you know, if you break it down on average, 21 pairs of sneakers, well, you know, throw in a few doubles and triples in there. I'm pretty sure you guys are kind of in that same boat with me. Am I lying or not? A lot of these pickups were for retail. A lot of the pickups are produced for release in 2022. And the first pair was the patent bred Air Jordan 1s back in January of this year, and really like this one. You know, it's a classic colorway, of course. The black and red, the band, the bread colorway, comes in all patent leather. Came with a metal Jumpman, kind of like the ones that they did for, you know, the 2001 retros and all that jazz. I thought it was a really cool addition. Don't really see this too much on Air Jordans. It comes with black laces, just like how you have to lace them up as you got the shoes. Hey, maybe even back when you guys were probably still around, maybe in 1980s, you know, where they did sneakers that you had to lace up back in the day. On the inside, it's got that family threaded in on the lining. Nice shoe. Had to do it. Patent bred Air Jordan 1. Alright, February of this year, 2022, we had the Marina Blue Air Jordan 1s. Now, I may have made, or may have not, made a post on Instagram regarding this colorway and how I thought it was better than the Royal Blue Air Jordan 1s. I just think that the color blocking was nice, and you got the black toe on this pair. Let me actually bust out the Royals so you guys can see a comparison real quick. Alright, so a lot of people are going to say, hey, OGs, like, they are the classic, right? These are the 85s. You guys see, kind of has that faded look at the purple laces, right? Where it's supposed to be blue, but turned purple. Over time, this happened. So this is your OG 1985 Air Jordan 1. Now compare that with the Marina Blues here. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that the color blocking is nice on this? You guys probably think I'm tripping when I say that the Marina Blues are actually a lot better. I'm just saying the color blocking, but to each their own. Anyways, Marina blue Air Jordan 1s. The playoff Jordan 12s retros in 2022. These dropped back in March of 2022, and one of the first OG colorways to release in the beginning of the year. Classic colorway, man. You really can't go wrong with the black and white here. Nice. I should do a comparison of this if I haven't already. If I have, link up here, you guys can check that out. But you know, playoff 12s, can't go wrong. Hopefully you guys pick this one up because this one's a classic. And then real quick, I know you guys are wondering about these cases here. They're really nice cases. I've made videos on this in the past, so you guys can check that out as well. But they're sneaker throne cases, one of the nicest ones. UV protection on the front, and fits up to a size 13 on them. So if you guys are interested, link in the description, MJO23Dan as the promo code. Alright, so the next shoe on the list, the Rebellionaire Air Jordan 1. This one was a campaign around the Air Jordan 1 and how people were talking about the Rebellionaire moment. Did a video on this. Shout out to Phenom for hooking it up and was able to cop my pair. They can't stop you from wearing them was the slogan for this one. This was a nice shoe. A lot of people wasn't really feeling it. The Sandy Bros actually did this one, so if you guys remember the Lost and Found Air Jordan 1s, they're the same dudes that, you know, created the inspiration around this. Box was cool as well. You guys can check out the review video that I've done earlier this year. There we go. Alright, so one of the classics from back in the day, 2004. This is the West edition of the Air Jordan 19 in black and white. There were different versions all throughout. This is the West colorway, the Midwest colorway, and there's also the East colorway. So I don't have those two, and I definitely want to add it into the collection. One of those things back in the day where, you know, you were able to cop the shoe if you were on the West Coast. I am on the West Coast, and this was the one that I missed. I thought this one was the cleanest, and, you know, I think a lot of people are kind of missing the Air Jordan 19. Actually, even retros above, you know, the 15. You know, hopefully Jordan Brand will consider on a regular release going on the higher models. But, you know, this one I copped back in March, late March of this year, and got it for a steal. So glad to have it, and into the collection it goes. The Air Jordan 19 West Edition. Alright, so here we go. Back in April, got the Heritage ones. These were sitting for a few months actually. And I've seen people turning these into Chicago's, into Breads. And I think it's a really clean colorway, you know, white, red, black. You really can't go wrong. I don't understand why it didn't do so well on the resale market. You know, they even were discounted all the way down to like $125. And I'm sure even lower than that too. You know, red on the toe, white on the upper. Leather was really nice on these. They came with black laces, also with the red and the white laces. So, you know, if you were able to, you know, cop one of these, even customize it, you know, I think it's a nice shoe. So, Heritage ones. All right, these are a classic. Back in April, I was able to get one of my grails. Man, a non-Jordan shoe, obviously. This is the Nike Air Raid 2, the OG from 1993. The Peace Raids, also known as. They've done a retro in this inspiration several years ago, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't like this. And I will try and bust out an old school photo of me rocking these shoes back in 1993. I think it was 93 or 94, around then. And like, I was super nerd, but man, I remember going to a sporting goods store called Big Five, and these sneakers were on the shelf at a discount. They had the non-marking soles, as you can tell, probably if it shows up on there. And you know, back in the day, like, you'd have sneakers that like made marks on the floors and in school, and you know, it was something that my teachers probably didn't like. So anyways, they made the non-marking sole. The Air Raid 2 was actually a rival of Reebok's sneaker, and Tinker Hatfield was the creator of this one. So you got the basketball inspiration there, and then you got the peace inspiration right there, and you can flip-flop from the straps. It's got that ballistic message on the side, and then the Durbuck, you can see like that's bad peeling right there on the toes. But yeah, I got this off Liu Kang's closet on Instagram. Shout out to him. It took probably about a year to like wiggle those from his hands, and he hit me up like later on, and we decided to do a deal. I think I spent north of maybe $200 for them, but I know they're crumbling, they're cracking and everything, but you don't get this shoe in retro form at all these days. So plus it was something that I grew up with, so I had to do it. Just a favorite memory of mine growing up. The OG Air Raid 2 piece. Alright, so the Air Jordan 13 in mid form. This is the navy, supposed to be low, made it into a mid form. Now something about the Air Jordan 13s, they have not corrected the leather on the toe. It's always that. So anytime I pick up a 13, I'm always going to be a stickler about that. On OGs, this softens up, and it's the softest leather that you will ever find on an Air Jordan. So this one, synthetic leather, not cool. I wish they used real leather there. It's only a little bit of on the toe, and hopefully down the line they start to make that better. But I thought making in the same vein of making lows mids and mids highs, or mids lows, I thought this one was really cool. I actually want to go back and pick up the Ginger 14s and maybe cop those. But the 13s, this is another classic that I wore back in my late high school years, back in '98. So I had to kind of test this one out. Air Jordan 13 navy mid. So coming up into May, this one was a tough one. I know a lot of people wanted it. Thankfully, Vanessa Bryant had made new amends with Nike, and we are now upon getting more retros of Kobe shoes. So this is the Mambacita Kobe 6. This one I actually got, got this one off Nike Sneakers on an exclusive access, and I was really lucky to have these. I really wanted a Kobe. Ever since his passing, it's been really tough, and this one was a special one. Probably a year prior, in 2021, I saw like a sneaker shop. I think it was Foot Patrol. They had accidentally released these, and some people had pairs of them. And Foot Patrol, of course, is overseas, and so some people had access to it. And then Vanessa got really mad, and then the relationship with Nike just kind of went on a down spiral. So I'm glad they were able to make amends and move forward. Especially this one. This was a nice one. Would have been Gigi's 16th birthday, so there's a tribute there. This is actually my first Kobe 6, so proud to have it in the collection. Hope to get more. Alright, so just a few OGs, early type retros, split and sprinkled into the collection as we go into 2022. This is a 2002, so this is 20 years since its release. So 2002 cool gray Air Jordan 9. This is the shoe that Michael Jordan wore back as a Washington Wizard. You can see that the patent leather has yellowed just over time, but I really wanted the cool gray edition of the Air Jordan 9 in my collection, especially with a shoe that Michael Jordan wore in his later careers. Something that I, wanted to add to the collection, so it's here. So back in June, early part of the summer, was able to cop the Georgetown Air Jordan 85 highs. So this one is done with the shape and look of the original 1985 Air Jordan 1. I did, honestly, I know a lot of you guys did out there too, is that you guys wanted the lost and founds in this shape. I definitely wanted that. The sole is going to be different from that. You know, I think I've done a comparison on my previous videos of the lost and found with the 85 high, so you guys can check that out as well. But the Georgetown ones, you know, a tribute to North Carolina's rival there in the NCAA, Michael Jordan's opposing friend in Patrick Ewing, who used to play for the Georgetown Hoyas back in the day, and came with the classic hang tag there. So thought this was cool. Hope to see more Air Jordan 1 85 highs in 2023 as we move forward. Alright, so the Ma Maniere Air Jordan 2. If I were to rank all of the Air Jordans from Ma Maniere, this would actually be at the bottom. Now, I like the Air Jordan 2, but I don't like that cracked leather that they use on it. I like the color blocking, the maroon that they use on the shoes are nice, but my biggest gripe about this sneaker is how bubbly the midsole is on the shoe. You can see how much it extends out, and it's just not really a clean look to me. And you can see, you know, a little bit of the jaggedness of the way that it sits on the upper. Not a big fan of that. You can even see here like how much of a millimeter that sticks out, you know, in relation to the toe. But you know, so my ranking for the Ma Manieres, aside from the Airship, which I didn't pick up, but I have all 4 of the other Air Jordans, so I would probably go the Air Jordan 3 as my number 1. I would do the Ma Maniere Air Jordan 4 as my second pick, and then I would do my Air Jordan 1s as my third, and then these would be at the bottom. So, but nonetheless, you know, it's a complete set, and I'll stick with it. So here we go, the military black Air Jordan 4s. So these ones rose in resale. I think a lot of people were paying attention. Obviously, Air Jordan 4s do really well in the marketplace. It's one of the only sneakers that have a lot of influence in the collab market. So if you guys have noticed with Air Jordans, they do the 4s a lot, they do the 1s a lot. Those two, I think, in between, like they switch off every now and then. But the 4 is just, you know, a pretty solid classic. And I can't wait for the military blues when they finally release. Maybe with Nike Air on the back. We'll see. Jordan brand. Come on. Let's go. Getting into August now. Here we go. One of the OG classics. The Fire Red Air Jordan 3 with the Nike Air on back. Ooh. Man. So, these aren't actually reselling for too much either. And I'm not sure why. You know, you got the updated look of the Air Jordan 3, you know, with the fabric being, or actually the leather of the tongue being tucked over the fabric. And, you know, I mean, a lot of people, you know, whether it's like low patent leather on an Air Jordan 11 versus the high cut, or the Air Jordan 3 and the elephant print being lower, you know, that's something that a lot of people, you know, new and old, kind of look at and like, well, I kind of like that feature, so it should be on the next sneaker. But, you know, I think Jordan Brand is trying to come with a balance to appease older collectors and newer fans. So, I mean, I kind of understand their situation when it comes to stuff like that. So when we actually all look forward to the white cements, the reimagined white cements in February of next year, I think it's going to have a lot of the qualities that this had. But Obviously, they're going to be fixing the the way that the elephant print is on the shoe. This one, I liked. I doubled up on this one, so I will have to bust those out at some point because these are a classic. The Fire Red Air Jordan 3s. This one was tough to come by. This one was a pickup back in September. And shout out to my boy Sneaker Dave over at Corporate. Actually, I should be rocking the hat. So, the men's version of the Nike Penny 1 Orlando. This is one of my favorite colorways of the shoe. Obviously, not a Jordan, but, one of the classic Nike athletes from back in the day with their signature, which is still popular, I believe, with fans. What I want to see more of is Charles Barkley's incorporation with Nike, and maybe even some more silhouettes of the pennies as well. Actually, in fact, all the old school Nike signature dudes. Like, go ahead and bring back, like, Jason Kidd and Gary Payton and all those guys. But this one was a tough acquire, especially in men's. But I've seen a lot of the GS pairs on retail sites, drop in. And I've never really seen too much of the men's. So this one was cool. I'm glad to have it into the collection. Still into September, we get the taxis or the yellow toes? Air Jordan 1s. So another color block, kind of similar to the Heritage ones. And I think this one sat too. But, I was able to get it for retail. The leather's great on it. A lot of people talk about shattered backboard and all that good stuff. But, you can see nice leather there on the upper all throughout. So another nice cop. So this one I've seen, you guys know I'm a big proponent of the Airship. This one is in Team Orange. Similar to the red, if you were to look at videos or pictures online, like the orange is kind of similar to the red, but if you put them together, they're not. But shout out again to Sneaker Dave at Corporate and also to Ivanga over at Backdoor Bottega. That came out with a really nice packaging of MJ's sneaker wares for his rookie year. And, the Airship is a sneaker that a lot of you guys may or may not know that Jordan wore as a first-time sneaker on court in the NBA. So, this one done in that orange. You guys have that stamping on the inside there, which is your size. I feel like the Airship is just super underrated. Like, they're going to be coming out with a lot more colors in 2023, I believe. So if you guys have not experienced this at all, I definitely invite you guys to get out there and, get yourself a piece of history. Airship. Coming down to the wire, you guys. Coming down last month in November, the Lost and Found Air Jordan 1s. An abundance of these, right? But I know a lot of people weren't able to cop as well. I know I had some friends that were asking me for sizes, if I can look out. But, I was able to come up with a double on this. And the Air Jordan 1 in its reimagined look with the cracked leather and all. Did a video on this as well. You guys can check that out. And looks like Jordan Brand's going to be doing a lot more of the OG classics in this reimagined look where it's like lost and then you find it and it's in a different state. So a lot of my early retros and the OGs, as you saw earlier in the video with the Royal ones, it's got that vintage look to it. And that's, I guess, what Jordan Brand is going for with this. And I know a lot of people are like, well, why can't we just get a nice new looking shoe? And I agree. Like, there's some where, like, for example, with the Gap, when they first had like distressed jeans and all that stuff, like, why would I want that if I can just distress them myself? You know what I mean? So, a lot of people kind of teeter-totter between that trend, but whatever. If we're getting Chicago's, I'm trying to get more than one, obviously. So here we go. Lost and found Air Jordan 1s. Now, I know the Air Jordan 11 is a classic holiday sneaker. Shout out to you guys if you guys were able to cop. This came in full family sizing. The white and red, varsity red, or people call them cherries. Now, I think that the lost and founds, the Jordan 1s, were a good replacement for the holiday 11. Now, my last video I did a video about could another sneaker replace the holiday 11s. You guys can go back to that video and make a comment, but if you guys want to make a comment here, be my guest. But definitely need to see the Columbia 11s make a return in its OG form, however they can get it as close to whatever they can. But that is definitely one of the last OG colorways that need to drop, and hopefully we will get that in 2023. And then after that, what, you want to turn more lows into mids? Be my guest, I think. But yeah, the holiday Air Jordan 11 that everyone craves, here it is. A second sneaker that Ma Maniere put out this year is the Air Jordan 4 Ma Maniere. So I have a friend named Daniel who was able to, well, I don't know if it was a lookout, but he wasn't really feeling this sneaker. And I thought he was crazy. This is a nice sneaker. The Air Jordan 4 Ma Maniere. Nice. I think he just didn't like the colorway. Got that violet ore, right? With that faded violet look to it. With the vintage look of the sole. You got the quilted lining of the insole, as well as the inside of the sneaker. I just thought it was a nice sneaker, man. And you put it on and it's nice. So this one, he had a 10.5. Typically in Air Jordan 4 retros, I am a half size up from true to size. So these fit a lot better than an actual size 10 would for me. And the pinky toe is always going to be a problem for that. But yo, Ma Maniere hit it out of the park with this one. And then last but not least, we have the Air Jordan 37. This is the flagship model of the Air Jordan. They're continuing the numbered series. This is now number 37. Can you imagine going back to 1985 with the first one? And then now we're at 37. This is a long tenured brand, guys. So I thought this one was cool. I actually had to return this a couple times because there's just some flaws. If it's not the box being messed up, it's like the midsole here being all chunked up. So I actually have another pair on the way that I'm waiting to kind of exchange, but gladly will do that because I was able to catch a sale. So these were about like $120. Being a sneaker, that is what retail. Man, retail is $185 for the sneaker. I will gladly accept, a full sale on these shoes. So I try to pick a colorway that is true to its original form, I guess, with the colorway. This being with the hair colorway. I am thinking about the Bordeaux's and then the playoff version or charcoal version, or a lot of people like to nickname the Raptors. So I think those would be another addition to the Air Jordan 37 collection. But I typically try to go one colorway per signature model so that I have, or so that I can say I have Air Jordans 1 through the current model in my collection. But yo, these are cool. I always go half size up on the sneakers, on performance sneakers, so I will never go true to size on these. They just don't fit. So half size up, especially if you're a wider footer, definitely. Alright guys, so thank you so much for tuning in to my channel, being a subscriber. Hope you enjoyed this video that I did here, and I hope to pump out more videos into 2023. So with that being said, happy holidays, happy new year. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.